Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you. That's right, a current video this time, which might come as a shock, as the channel has been mainly classic for the past several months. I always say that I'll give current a legitimate try whenever they release a new patch or expansion. So in this video, I just wanted to give a quick rundown on the state of current, primarily focusing on 8.3 since it's new. So, its major features, and what I feel are advantages and disadvantages. Just as a perspective, this is coming from someone who's played the game from release to today. Not as much current today since Classic came out, since I personally prefer that. So maybe if you're in similar shoes and you haven't had the chance to check out current, this video might be helpful to you. So, 8.3. The final patch of BFA, which was confirmed recently. No new content until the next expansion's pre-patch, which is of course Shadowlands. Let's get this out of the way first. BFA has been a rocky expansion to say the least. In my opinion, not quite on the level of Draenor, like some would have you believe, but still, it's had its troubles, which I won't dwell on right now. That's because this video is about 8.3. I think the best way to do this is to go over each new feature one by one, and make some comments, and at the end, give an overall opinion on how it's looking. So, the patch is about 2 weeks old by the time that this video is released, so we officially have everything unlocked. The story has advanced, you have more quests in your main campaign. Although this video will have spoilers, I won't go too much into this to avoid as many as possible. Plus, anything story related is really a subjective thing anyways. One thing I will say though, is I just find it funny that Magni gave my character this quest. Yeah, well, you know that all-powerful, all-seeing Cthulhu old god that's been rampaging the entire world as we know it? How about you just go take him out real quick? What's the reward, I hear you ask? Well, an insurmountable villain requires astronomical rewards, and it's just Azerite power. Well, he called me champion, I guess, so that's all I need.
Oh my god, he's so handsome.
Champion, let me have your babies!
That's a machinima from Captain Grimm, by the way. You should check it out, it's hilarious. I'll have a link in the description. But through the story, you unlock the N'Zoth assault system. Every week, 2 zones, Uldum and the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, will come under assault by N'Zoth. Here you can do some daily quests, daily objectives, and kill daily rares for some Azerite, chests, a weekly world boss, and some new currencies, which we'll talk about later. And daily, you'll also be able to enter what is called a vision of a certain area of that zone. Basically, it's a premonition of what the world would be like had N'Zoth succeeded. You go here and, click 10 civilians to save it, I guess? Whew, good job everybody. I'm gonna call this area saved. In addition to all of this, you also have the minor assault in the opposite zone of the major assault. Basically the same thing. Daily quests, daily objectives, daily rares. It's just missing the weekly world boss and that daily mini vision. I keep saying vision though, so what are these exactly? Well, you have the mini ones, like I explained, but the main event are the horrific visions. Unlocked through those story quests, in the Chamber of the Heart, you'll be able to spend the new currency that you've been obtaining on keystones to enter what are called horrific visions. These are on a much grander scale, taking place in the heart of your faction's capitals, Orgrimmar or Stormwind. You have a special meter called Sanity, which drains slowly over time, or when you get hit, and there are several objectives per vision for you to complete. The more you complete, the more rewards you get, but the more risky it is, as these areas are typically more dangerous, with special negative affixes or increased sanity decay. As you can see, when you enter this area of Stormwind, you get this annoying debuff that makes you jump randomly. The vision is considered completed when you kill the faction leader, which is Illyria for Stormwind and Thrall for Horde, and the setting changes week by week. And, to increase the difficulty and rewards even further, there are these hidden masks that you can also unlock. To make your time easier, after successful runs, you'll get a currency which you spend on a skill tree to increase your ability to stay sane while inside the vision. Outside of the new raid, this is the new major draw of 8.3, and what Blizzard is hoping to hook players with. Again, I have some stuff to say about this, but for now, I'll let you gather your own thoughts, and I'll explain mine at the end. The main reason to do them is to upgrade your legendary cloak. Again, unlocked through the story quests, and aside from just having a high eye level, This also helps you stay sane while inside the vision. After each successful run, you're given an item to upgrade the cloak by 1 rank, and at certain tier it upgrades in ability and looks. So it's another form of character progression really. You have your normal gearing, your azurite and essences, and now a cloak. And another new thing is corrupted loot, which is taking the place of titanforging. Basically, certain pieces of gear are corrupted, and you get a nice bonus affix, but it also increases your corruption meter. The higher meter you have, the more severe penalties you get. For example, at tier 1 corruption, you'll randomly get a movement speed debuff, and at tier 2, there's a chance that an eye will spawn next to you and deal damage if you're too close, and so on. So the goal is to create this yin-yang of getting more and more powerful with more corruption, but also balancing that with detrimental effects. Because of all of this, they've removed titanforging and warforging from Season 4 items in the game to reduce some of the random nature of the loot. And of course we have the new raid, Nyalotha. This is where it gets to be a bit too spoilery, so I won't go too much into this. There's really not a whole lot to say though. It's a new raid tier. And that's 8.3 in a nutshell. I said that I'd share my thoughts on all of this now that I've had some good playtime in, so here's the opinion part of the video. I know opinions are really scary, but I think we'll survive. But if you're afraid of them, you can stop this video now, or continue on knowing this and complain anyways. Hey, it's a free country. Well, overall, I like the patch. I've been having fun with it so far. I'm not sure how much long-term appeal it'll have, which I'll explain in a bit, but for now, I'm having fun with it, and it's been a while since I've been able to say that about Current, which makes me happy. Yes, despite the voice, I promise you that I am capable of emotion. I've always considered myself an optimist, so let's start with the positives. The new raid, as they always are, is impeccable. Say what you want about BFA, or Legion, or hell, even Draenor. The raids in current World of Warcraft are top-notch. Each boss brings a unique challenge to the table, and with the re-release of Classic, you can really see just how far they've come in terms of boss design, since we now have that direct comparison. My favorite is this one, where your raid gets 2 different debuffs that lets you see certain enemies, and you have to find the one that everyone sees. If you kill the wrong one, you wipe, and it's hectic because there's some constant damage going out throughout the entire phase. Rathian is pretty fun as well. I like how every dragon fight retains echoes of the past from old school raiding. Here you can see he retains his infamous tail swipe that knocks players back. Luckily, no whelps to worry about in this one, so your DKP is safe. No matter what criticisms you can draw from BFA, or current World of Warcraft in general, you'll be hard-pressed to find anything to complain about in the boss design in the raids. It's unmatched in my opinion. And just aesthetically, Nyalotha is their best yet, I think. You're totally drawn into the atmosphere, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite raids. But moving on to the visions, these are alright. The way that they work and how you can choose to be risky for higher reward and uncover new areas is fun. There's also lots of stuff to discover and side objectives to investigate. My main worry though is for how long these will be fun. Inevitably through cloak upgrades and that skill tree, I'll have seen all of what they have to offer and eventually just overpower them, I'm sure. Inevitably, my cloak will max out, and I'll have no reason to do them aside from the convention of it, which, with the former point, doesn't seem to me they'll have any sort of longevity, and assuming we're following the release schedule of previous expansions, they're banking on people keeping themselves occupied with this for a long time. BFA and Legion released in August, so assuming the same is true for Shadowlands, that's about 7 months of 8.3 content, which I wager just after a couple of months, most of the players will have exhausted. But wait a second, you do get gear from these. Depending on how many side objectives you do, you can get anywhere from 420 to 470 split up into these tiers, but only once a week. If you do the full clear and all of the masks, you only get rewards for that once as it's a weekly lockout. So there is a reason outside of the cloak to do them, which leads me to my next point though. Just how much have I said the words daily and weekly in this video? A negative I feel with 8.3 is that it's adding even more daily and weekly stuff on top of an already astronomical amount of daily and weekly stuff. Let's entertain this actually. Just how much daily and weekly stuff is there in BFA? We have daily world quests on 7 zones now, a daily emissary, daily quests in Mechagon, daily quests in Nazjatar, daily quests in the 2 assault zones, along with the daily mini-vision. You have your daily mission table missions, your daily warfront contribution quests, and if you control the warfronts, daily quests in 2 more zones, a daily faction incursion, being generous there since they're actually every 16 hours, and as for weekly, we have the island expedition bar, world bosses in several zones, I think 5 total. We have base BFA, 2 warfront bosses, Nazjatar, and the Nazath Assault, I think. We have 2 warfront scenarios on 2 difficulties, and the latest raid on 4 difficulties. We have the weekly Greater Assault bar, your weekly PvP chest, and your Call to Arms dailies, and your weekly Mythic Plus chest of course, and your weekly Adventure Guide quest. And if you're outnumbered, your weekly Against Overwhelming Odds PvP quest. And now, with the visions, you have your weekly gear on multiple tiers. Is this it? There's so much, I've honestly lost count. Feel free to add to this if you think I missed any. And before you make the argument that, well, you don't need to do all of this stuff, my counter to that is, yeah, you don't, but with the Azerite system, and virtually all of this stuff giving you Azerite power, along with the fact that titanforging being present in 80% of the game's run so far, you're inclined to. That's current in a nutshell. You're inclined to do all of this stuff so you don't fall behind. To me, it's like doing chores, and that's what all my friends call it. Hey, you do your chores yet? No, not yet. I feel like daily stuff has its place within reason, but at a certain point, it's just feeding into engagement metrics to fool naive shareholders into believing that the game is healthy. You'll be hard-pressed to find people who'll say that they want to do these dailies, instead of saying that they have to do these dailies. Just pay attention to the nomenclature of your friends the next time you log in. Whenever they mention any daily activity, you'll hear the words have to more often than you'd think. I mean, let's do a quick survey. Who here likes the fact that the entire game is based around giving you menial daily chores to complete with the constant threat of falling behind on your back? Like this one, run a line to make a shape. It's not difficult in any way. There's no real thought to it. It's not fun, at least to me. It's just an excuse to get you to fly all the way out here to complete your daily quest for your carrot. It's like saying, here, draw a triangle in MS Paint. Good. Fun, right? To me, it's not good game design. There are ways to keep players wanting to come back without stringing a carrot on a stick in front of them and giving them the idea that if they don't keep up, they're punished. It's the design philosophy of mobile gaming. The only thing they're missing is, oh my god, they've actually done it. Well, at least they're not trying to hide it. It's why, in my Is Classic Casual Friendly video, I say that I think Classic is more casual friendly than current. It's because there aren't 5,000 daily and weekly things to bait you into this gerbil-like routine of 9 million daily chores. And hey, tripling the active subscriber amount on the game's release is a pretty hard thing to argue against. For BFA, it's too late. All of this stuff is already tied to the game, there's no really changing it. My only hope is that they put the player before the shareholder in Shadowlands and focus more on making a better overall game, rather than slapping a band-aid on a gushing wound in the form of daily and weekly busy work. All in all, I am enjoying 8.3. I just don't know for how long. I think the game as a whole today relies too heavily on daily and weekly stuff to keep engagement metrics up, and 8.3 adds on top of this even more daily and weekly stuff. It's something that worked for a while, probably throughout Wrath or maybe early Cataclysm, but has really caught up to them over time, as it seems to be the only way that they can keep people playing nowadays. And before you lay into me for sharing my opinion, I'd like to address the state of current on the channel. As you may have seen, there really hasn't been a lot of coverage on current in recent months, ever since Classic released in fact. The reason is simple, I've just been enjoying Classic more, so I've been playing it more. That's not to say it's perfect, it has many flaws that's for sure, but when I noticed that the channel was starting to grow and I started to put more time into it, I said that I would stop if it ceases to be fun for me. I've been on YouTube for a long time. I've seen the rise and fall of seemingly unstoppable giants, and the one thing that they have in common is whatever flame they had when they started, they lost, and the videos became something they'd make just for the sake of making them, rather than from a place of passion or enjoyment. I don't cover current too much these days because I kind of fell out of it. BFA really burned me, and since then, I haven't really had the drive to really make videos about it. For me, it would be forcing things, which would be disingenuous to myself and to you as well. Honestly, if Classic didn't release, I think I would have moved on from the game by now and over to erotic audiobook voiceovers or something. All that being said though, I'll always give Current a shot. Just as I've done with 8.3, I'll do the same with Shadowlands whenever that releases. In fact, there are rumors that a beta is starting soon, so if I get into that, I'll be sure to tell you all about it. So, take it for what it's worth. In summary, like I said, I am enjoying Current as of this video. The raid is impeccable as always. Titanforging is out for now, which is good I think. I'm having fun with the visions. I'm just not sure for how long I'll be enjoying it, since I think a lot of this stuff doesn't have a lot of longevity, since it relies more on daily and weekly busy work, rather than hooking me on general good design. I hope you enjoyed it though for what it's worth, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.